All right, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom, Brother Nakwan.
Shalom, shalom, brother Orion.
Coming back at you again with these precepts and another Monday Night Fire, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh Shema Mashiach, Wamalak Bashai. Double honors to the elect elders that's been in this truth before us for decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom to the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom to those men. Shalom to the Akwat out there, the sincere sisters that are out there zealous, diligent, and on fire, moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to the ancient men. Shalom to the children. And shalom to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth and everybody tuning in live. Shalom, shalom.
Khan, shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, reading, praying, fasting, magnifying the Most High and his beloved Son Yahweh Shah. Most High willing, everybody's in the spirit in the last days. Gearing up for World War III, right? The end of the world, right? Shalom, King. Right, the end of the world, and making sure that they're building up their faith, right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. You got it.
And we diving right into it. June 1st is one of the worst months of the year, man, through the spirit and power of June in general, man, as of late. As of, I can't remember the exact date. We could find out a Pride Month being formalized and being made a federal month of worship, debauchery, lewdness, lust, freakism, wickedness, marching, sodomy, all types of just pure, vain, fleshly works of the wicked, man. Right? So you're going to see in this month, brothers got to get arm their spirits, man. There's going to be more and more sodomy demons out there, more and more people feeling themselves, man. You're going to start seeing men out there. At first, they wasn't really doing things. Now they out there, they kissing and hugging, and children are out there, and women are out there naked. Dykeism is going to go up, right? Sodomites are going to go up, man. Child pedophilia is going to go up. This is a very demonic time. This is a very demonic time, and we want to arm ourselves to prepare for these spirits and to rebuke these evil spirits that are sent on the earth in the last days. So we're going into Pride Month, Sodom and Gomorrah, and the rainbow. We may touch on Genesis, the 19th chapter. We may go through that, right? We may go through different topics to show you where this thing came from, historically and biblically, through the spirit of prophet Yahweh Shemel Shah. You got it, Amos.
Shalom. All praises to the Most High. Back in the day, everybody used to love the month of June, right? June brought forth the summer, a good spirit, right? Refreshing time, something new. But now it's vexing to those in the truth, man. This is the worst month to have to deal with, man. Like the brother said, it's a lot of pride that goes along with it, right? This homosexuality demon, this thing is it turns you, it flips you inside out, right? You got men turning into women, women turning into men, right? Disrespectful, forcing their ungodly lust upon us to make us accept what they do, right? They try to force us to integrate with the weird things that they do behind closed doors. And it's our job as fathers and sisters as mothers to combat and fight it so that spirit doesn't hop on our children, right? For those who have children in school, I'm quite sure that they're pushing all this agenda on them.
Oh yeah,
from the start of June to the middle, whenever school lets out, right? This is a dreadful month for us in the truth, right? And Most High willing, he overthrows all these celebrations that they having, festivities. Every month in Baltimore, they got a dance floor. They shut down all Gay Street, and they have a dance party, a big sodomite dance party. Well, I hope that the Most High overthrows every single pride event that's going on, right? The brothers got it.
And I want to get this one quick precept because what we're going through is prophecy, man. I would hate to be a child, like you said, in this age, right? In this age through the spirit, man. I couldn't imagine. It's even on these TV shows. You got to be mindful of what your children are watching, man. You got all these specials and every new episode that these Amalekites own. They own these these production companies, the film industry, all of these networks, they've been given the green light and the authority to push on these new episodes of rather it's sitcoms or ABC, CBS TV, MTV, whatever network. Everybody, they're going to push this on a high level, man. It's going to be in your TV screen. People going to be watching TV, having dreams about freakism, man. It's going to be on the radio. You can't escape it at the workplace. They're putting rainbows up, man. Giving out damn rainbow cookies, and it's going to be absolute madness. And one more point: after the pestilence happened in 2019, then 2020, then 2021, and so forth and so on. I believe that was 2019, around that time. More people start coming out, man. Right? More people are in public spaces. More people are in restaurants. More people are in bars. More people are out in public parks. So people they're really getting into this safety zone, for lack of better terms, and they're feeling more comfortable. And they're coming out with these demons, man. But this is prophecy. I want to read this in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, and I want to go to verse number 22. Right? This Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and 22. It reads, "Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of God. But whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace." And this is a great war of ignorance, man. This is spiritual war going on. You have spirits of understanding, spirits of wisdom that teach you the nature of man and the nature of woman. Right? The spirit of instruction guides you in the spirit. You're innately programmed to know what a man's purpose is for. Right? You're innately programmed to understand what a natural purpose of a woman is for. Right? But then there are also demons of ignorance. Right? There's a demon of seduction. There are seducing spirits. So the war of ignorance is not the matter of a brother who refuses to read or refuses to study. This is spiritual warfare going on. We're pushing out spirits of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and we're being combated by spirits of ignorance, folly, and lust. Right? So I'm going to read that again. It reads, "Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of the Most High." And I'm going to tell you something. If you're a sodomite, you have erred in the knowledge of the Most High God, man. Because there are straight laws, statutes, and commandments that dictate what man's purpose is and what woman's purpose is. Right? It reads, "But whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace." And these sodomites, they call these things peace. These people even know about Sodom and Gomorrah. The average Joe has even heard about it. You may not know who Lot is. You may not know, who the king of Sodom was, and these things. But even an average man, Joe, 7 out of 10 of them, they heard of Sodom and Gomorrah. So they know about it. They see the destruction, but they still want to call their lifestyle peace. I'm going to jump down to verse number 24. "They kept neither lives," let's just read it right here, right? "They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously or grieved them by adultery." These are the different demons that are on the earth, right? Adultery, murder, betrayal, so that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury, disquieting of good men. And this, they are disquieting good men, man. Right? That's another spirit on the earth, man. Tumult. When you have a tumult and a parade, you're disquieting good men. Right? When you have unruly damn marches and you shut the whole street down because the brother's trying to get home from work, man, and see his family or pay bills, and he's stuck in traffic for 3 hours off of spontaneous pride parades, that's a demon. That's the disquieting of good men, forgiveness of good turns. And a lot of these sodomites hate their parents, man, because their parents don't accept them. You're forgetting that's forgiveness of good turns, man. You wouldn't be here without a mother and a father, man. Some of these guys, they take them to court. It reads, "Defiling of souls, changing of kind, disorder in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanness." And you have defiled your soul as a man. Rather you pop the man or you got popped by a man, right? And ain't nothing cool. Well, what about the women I like? Ain't nothing cool about that, man. See, in the world, they try to seduce you to think that a woman dealing with a woman is supposed to be like a thing, man. It's a wicked thing. You have defiled your soul, believe it or not, and you have changed your kind. Because the Lord made everything. He made the birds after their kind. He made the beast after their kind. So there's a genus, there's a genetic makeup, there's a creation that has been authorized by the Almighty God, and man has taken it upon themselves with their inventions to change their kind. Some men cut their damn whole rod off, man. You know, some women, man, that they experiment. You can experiment. This is people will start experimenting, man. Right? It's that demon. I never really thought about what it would feel like. Right? These freshmen in colleges, these sophomores, man, you know, these high school students, these young kids, man. Right? But brothers got it. That's the change in the kind. And shameless. It's shameless. It's literally an unclean act. But brothers got it. You on mute, King.
Come with the water. Yeah, I said I wanted to bring this out too. That's right. In First Kings, right? It's First Kings chapter 14. And I want to start at 21. This First Kings chapter 14 and verse 21. It says, and Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, reigned in Judah. So in Rehoboam's reign, you had wickedness, right? You just had alt-right evil. You have certain men fit to lead and certain men that were not fit to lead. Now, what was going on during Rehoboam's reign? Let's jump down to verse number 24. And there were also sodomites in the land. Now, Rehoboam being the king, he could easily remove these sodomites if he wanted to. If sodomites are in the land, what does that mean, man? Wickedness, right? All type of sexual lasciviousness, right? Seduction, right? All of these wicked demons and spirits, and it's creating a principality over that region. It says, and there were also sodomites in the land, and they did according to all the abominations of the nations. Now, you know, we don't need an in-depth breakdown what that means, man. We know what Esau does. Esau dresses up like a beast in pony costumes, right? They do things in the dark. They mess with all type of liquids. They're into strange lewdness. They even have sex stores, right, where they go into to buy strange things to get off with, man. So if you're doing according to the abomination of the nations, meaning them sodomites is no better than Esau, Ammon, you understand, Amalek, and all of these different wicked nations. It says, which the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. And I wanted to link that up with 2 Kings 23. And they do all type of strange things, man. Right? The Lord is not dealing with all of these wicked sexual things, right, that have nothing to do with a marriage bed undefiled. This is the book of 2 Kings chapter 23. And I want to start at verse number 7. So when Josiah came to rule, he had to clean up the things that the previous kings didn't clean up, man. That's one of the main things you have to do is clean up the sodomites out of the land. This 2 Kings chapter 23 and verse 7. And he break down the houses of the sodomites. So not only did they come into the land, but they got comfortable. You know, imagine you came outside, and this is how America is now. You kind of peek out your bedroom and you kind of see, you know, a sodomite moving in. Next thing you know, they're getting more comfortable. Now it's another sodomite moving in 4 blocks down. Now they on your street. Now they throwing a welcome party. Next thing you know, you got your whole street and a whole region and a whole city giving a holy to sodomy, man. It says, and he break down the houses of the sodomites. So you got to really picture this, man. He didn't ring their doorbell and ask them to come out nicely. He broke down their houses, man. And they were flipping over all type of altars and setting stuff on fire in the ancient world. So they were really serious about the law. And he break down the houses of the sodomites that were by the house of the Lord. How abominable is that, man? How off was Rehoboam to let those things increase and go on? See, that's why the Lord said, a little leaven leaveneth up the whole lump. Because you let a little come into the land, next thing you know, they got a village. They got houses. Right? All type of seduction starts to increase. And not only was it increasing, it was right by the temple, man. So imagine those strange sounds and those lewdness and those things as the men of God were doing the work that were by the house of the Lord, right, where the woman woven hangings for the groves. Brothers got it.
Hey, I want to make one quick point. See, it what's like what was that? See, it said where the women wove hangings for the grove. So them demons be connected, man. And you always see and that wasn't a Chinese woman, that was a so-called black woman. You always got the so-called black woman predominantly promoting and being right next to a Jake sodomite. So it's natural that those spirits, that sodomite spirit and that Eve, they always together, man, doing some
Right.
wicked. I
Right.
want to make that point.
Con. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter I want to start at. Let's start at 2 Peter chapter 2. Right, we can start at the first verse. Right? And the problem is in this day and age, nobody is sound enough to possess and sanctify the vessel. Right? Babylon is a sensual nation. Right? Do what you want. Please the flesh. Go after your desires, your lusts. Let your concupiscence take over. Right? And that's how this whole world has become defiled. Because Esau is playing mind tricks and they're instilling that lust and lasciviousness in us when we're young. Right? When we was young, we used to have this show called Roger Rabbit. You know, I know brothers remember that. Right? Roger Rabbit had this curvy woman, Jessica Rabbit. Right? So they was programming us to go after our lusts as we were younger. Then they start to put them in more cartoons like the brother was saying. Now you got SpongeBob. Right? Always around Patrick. Right? Real sodomite-ish. Right? So they slowly teach you how not to possess your vessel. They slowly teach you how to become one with earth. Right? That's what they like to say. Right? I'm becoming one with nature. But nature, like the brother was saying, nature teaches you what things should go with what. You're not going to try to put two prongs together and think electricity is going to come. Right? That's madness. Right? The same way two prongs is not going to bring forth a baby. Right? SEX, like the brother said, sex is made for procreation. That requires man and that requires woman. Right? So all this ideology is false teaching. Right? So this is 2 Peter chapter 2. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who shall bring in their damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them. Right? So we have false teachers, like the brother said. It's always a so-called black woman justifying wickedness. Right? And that's the horrible thing that we have to deal with as Israelite men. Right? You got to deal with, you know, your mom might be friends with sodomites. You might have a sodomite cousin, a sodomite brother. Who knows? And the first person to justify them is their mother. Right? That's why men are needed in the house. Right? To correct that young man so he should know the way that he should go. Right? And those false teachers, they don't go after a house of structure ordered by the Most High. Right? The husband, the wife, and the children. And over top of the husband is Yahweh Shai and Yahweh. They don't go after those type of houses. They go after the broken homes. And when they go to the broken homes, they come with programs that allow these young men to turn into young women. Where I'm led to believe at least 20% of the men that are locked up in prison were acting off of lust and found out a transformer, and they was messing with them. And they came back and they put hands on them or killed them. Now you got a hate crime, you got murder. It's because we don't know how to possess our vessel, right? Even denying the Lord that brought them and bringing upon them swift destruction, right? Let's see the swift destruction that the Most High is talking about. Let's go down to verse number 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, right? That's the swift destruction that's coming, right? Because whores are burnt with fire, sodomites are burnt with fire. And that's a representation of Babylon the Great, a whorish sodomite beast, right? That's all America is. So the judgment that's coming to America is the same judgment that came to those cities that were round about Sodom and Gomorrah as well, and condemned them with the overthrow, making them an example unto those that they should live that should Salaki, make an example unto those that after should live ungodly. Right? So that example, it wasn't just for thousands of years ago and it went away. This is a memorial for generation after generation after generation after generation after generation. To know that you can't live ungodly, doing things that you ought not to do, right? Flipping the whole order that the Most High set forth, right? You're going to be burnt with fire. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's not maybe, it's just when. When is the Lord coming to destroy you? And deliver just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So the Lord is going to deliver those, just like how he delivered Lot, who was vexed with the filthy conversation. Like, I don't want to get into details, but you're going to hear a lot of foul stuff in these up and coming, 31 days, 30 days, however long is, how many days are in the month of June. You're going to hear a lot of ungodly conversation. You're going to see a lot of things that you ought not to see, right? Unbridled lust, excess, licentiousness. What the hell is that? I don't even know what that is. Lasciviousness,
licentiousness.
What is that? What does that even mean? That's a whole different word right there.
Yeah.
Can we look that word up, Bobby Shaw?
Freakism.
Freakism. That's all it really is.
That's what they should have put.
Hey.
What throw you off? Just say
weirdos.
Call it what it is, man. See that?
Unrestrained immoral behavior, particularly in sexual matters.
That's crazy.
That's that Diddy stuff.
That's exactly what it is.
Because it's unrestrained. Unrestrained, that means no holds barred. There's no discipline in that, and there's no accountability.
No accountability. And it has you to think, Israel was so off that they was doing such manner inside the temple. They don't fear the Lord. They're not scared of the judgments of the Most High. So these examples are for us to pass down to our children and for us to take heed to as well, right? Because it's a lot of brothers and sisters who came out the world who was confused and they were lost. And the Most High is showing you the way to avoid these destructions that are coming to this earth. So you're not a partaker of them, right? It was a little bit more on that than brothers got it, right? For that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing, right? He was seeing and hearing the ways of sodomites, man. You know how unfortunate your eyes and ears got to be to hear and see such things? Right? Vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. So the Lord is going to come and deliver the elect. So we don't have to see this stuff anymore, right? All these TV shows, all this music, right? Then Future had a song talking about, I don't care if they real sisters. Not going to get deep into it. This is the stuff that they promote on our people. And it's just destroying us little by little by little until there's no way back to the Lord. Right, but brothers got it.
Yeah, that's sick, man. That's sick. Yeah, let's go to Isaiah 3 and 8. Right, Isaiah 3 and 8, man. This stuff has to stop. Right, this stuff has to stop, man. Oh yeah, I see that. That's a song called "Real Sisters."
Con. He said, might as well. He said he make them kiss even if they real sisters, man. Yeah, and it's the stuff they playing on the radio.
Well, where's that in the scriptures, man? That's wickedness. This Isaiah 3 and 8 and they got whole neighborhoods, right by the school. They got the church. It's here. It is supposed to be a church, but it's the Roman Catholic Church, and they got this big phallic symbol on the top.
Right.
That's God knows why you don't have to have that. Nobody's in there. There's no rooms in there. There's no service church. Why do you have this tall phallic symbol and then you have a huge rainbow flag going down the church, man? They got sodomite bars. If you go in that bar and them sodomites, man, they'll look at it, they'll fight you. They got sodomite gangs, right? In DC, they got I don't know if they still have it. Yeah, they probably still have it. the check it gang, right? And they if you go to DC, these men dressed like women, they make an advance on you. They might run up on you, and with they throw that term riz up. They might try to riz you up, man. You a brother, you out there with the woman, your woman, they might try to riz you up, man. Hey, now look, if you deny this is real, if you deny the advances, you know, you look, man, you say what you got to say, 5 more of them come after you and they fight you and they beat you up, man. They did a whole this from like what 10 years ago, man, or something, 20 years ago. Well, damn, not 20, probably like 12, 13 years ago. Yeah, it's the check it gang. There's an actual gang of drug dealers, murderers, assaulters, revelers in DC, and they fight you, man, for respect. And they can fight. You watch them AA can fight, man. So they're not like these guys, they'll beat you down, man, if you're not in the spirit. You know?
Salaki, they got a gay beach in Delaware called Rehoboth.
Wow.
Rehoboth Beach. So you go over there, man, trying to have a good time with your family. You know, you in for a sight to see.
Yeah, man. And in DC, they also had this mystery van that was going around picking up dudes, popping them and dropping them off. You know? So I'm gonna read this. Let's go to Isaiah 3, man. See, people don't believe that's in DC. They had this van going around. It was all white van full of sodomites. It'll pick you up if you at the bus stop. They get out, they grab you up. You on your way to the airport, you know, going out of town, they'll pick you up. They'll pop you and they'll drop you off somewhere you don't know where you at, man. This Isaiah chapter 3 and 8. For Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord to provoke the eyes of his glory, man. And Jerusalem is ruined, man. You have a remnant. The Lord said he has reserved to himself 7,000 men that have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. So there's always going to be a remnant according to the election of grace. There's always going to be a remnant of righteous spirits that are going to defy the status quo and a new world order, man. It was like that when they built the Tower of Babel. You still had Eber, you still had Peleg, you had the certain sons of Shem. They didn't get down with that new world order, man. In the days of Enoch, you still had Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, those men that still defied the sons of Cain and the wickedness that was going on. Even in the days of the kings that Ariah was going into, you always had a remnant of prophets, companies of prophets and sons of the prophets that always obeyed the Most High, man. Right? And if you're in this truth now, Most High willing, you're part of that remnant. But everybody else stayed fallen. Jerusalem as a whole is ruined, man. You have men who are on the down low, man. They'll be leaving their whole family. They have whole families, and they'll go and they'll get popped, man. That's ruined, man. And they'll go home and act like a father, man. You have men that are supposed to be leaders of the people, and our leaders as a nation, this is how we're ruined. Our leaders are rappers and athletes, right? And all those guys are sodomites, man. Your favorite rappers these guys had to have got popped, man. I just put it how it is to make it, right? I don't care all of these guys, man. Your favorite celebrity, your favorite rapper, we're ruined as a people. Sodomy is one of the worst demons and one of the strongest demons that the Most High has created. It's a real hard demon. See, people, you can put the pork down. See, people can put the cigarette down. But that sodomite demon, however the Most High constructed it, is such a vile, just strange demon. When it hops on you, it's hard for that demon to get off of you. Right? I'm going to read verse 9. Their show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom, they hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Say yea to the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. Man. So if you're righteous, it's going to be well with you, man. You're going to be protected, right? When all hell breaks loose in your day-to-day travels, the angels are going to be around you while you sleep, when you get up. But if you're wicked, the Lord said the reward of your hands shall be given him. And that's why these sodomites have all types of diseases, depression. They commit suicide. They blow their brains out. You know, they get involved in strange journeys, and they go missing, and they have like this adventurous, wicked spirit about it. Right? Can you scroll up a little bit, King, to verse 9? And I think y'all done say he in the background. Right?
Okay.
And the
Okay.
part I want to, it says to show their countenance doth witness against them. What does that mean? It means you can see that demon in them. Even if you ask them, hey, are you a sodomite? The demon inside of them is part of the 2 or 3 witnesses, right? And say, the demon says, yeah, he is a sodomite. Don't you see the spirit that I'm making him make? You see his countenance. So you don't need witnesses. The demon inside of them is a witness. It's not just their countenance, it's the spirit inside of them altering their mannerisms. And they declare their sin as Sodom, huh? In this month, they're going to declare their sin as Sodom. They're going to call it Pride Month. Now, if I'm not mistaken, one more point. Sodomy is this is how hypocritical this society is. Sodomy, I will ask you to look at, can you pull up sodomy crime? You have to type it like that. Sodomy is an actual crime. You got, yeah. Well,
yeah.
If you, yep. See that? So it's referred to unnatural sexual intercourse, and you can read the rest, right? And has historically been a crime in many jurisdictions, often criminalized as an act of sexual violence or related offenses. Wikipedia notes that sodomy laws in many states were often not enforced or selectively enforced. Now think about that. Why wouldn't it be enforced? Because the people who are supposed to be enforcing it are sodomites. That's why they don't enforce it. Because you're into that. And that some jurisdictions have moved to decriminalize consensual same-sex activity, particularly between adults. But there are certain states and places where you can still go to jail for sodomy. Certain states are still into sodomy. Like police officers, a lot of times they force themselves on a woman and they get charged for sodomy, or things like that, man. Right? Now look at it. They didn't change it. Look at this. The Ham and Ishmael holding it down. Everybody else is drunk. So the Lord said they declared their sin as Sodom, they hide it not, man. And you're going to see these spirits, man. And I'm going to say something too, man. And that spirit can hop on anybody. And the most I can do what he want to do, man. If you're not in the spirit, if you going the hell off, and the most I can give you over to anything. There were brothers in the truth that turned to a sodomite, man. He was in a particular congregation. We're not really going to go into it. But the brother fell away and you start falling into lust and strange lust with men. I got one more. 1 Thessalonians 4:4. Right? Actually, Genesis. I want to get this just to get the account. Genesis 13:13. Just so brothers know where this came from. So Sodom was an actual city in the ancient world. You have 5 main cities. It wasn't just Sodom and Gomorrah. You had Sodom, you had Atma, you had Gomorrah, you had Bera, and you had Zoar. You had these 5 cities, and all of them were homosexuals. But Sodom and Gomorrah are the most famously known cities. So if you take on the behavior of the people that lived in Sodom, that's where you're called a sodomite, right? Genesis chapter 13:13. I'm going to start at 12. It reads, Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent towards Sodom. Right? We break that down all the time, right? You don't want to lean yourself towards the house of the wicked. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. Right? So that shows you that those men were wicked. Right? And Amos put the precept, man. Lot was vexed by that stuff. Right, brothers, God?
Khan, that's right. I want to get this in the book of Deuteronomy. Right, that's also a curse for brothers that don't know, man.
Right.
Right? The curses, man, you got poverty, you got unjust dealings with your wife, your husband, hatred, right? The evil eye, yokes of iron, slavery on slave ships. Right? You got all of these curses, but you also have a curse that brothers don't really touch on as much. That's in our communities, man. Right? This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse number 59. Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance. Right? So every plague isn't just, damn, I don't have a job. And then 3 weeks to a month, you finally get a job, and then your money problems end, and your poverty ends. No, the Lord put certain diseases on man, sexual diseases that are forever. You can't go to the clinic or your doctor and cleanse up certain things. We're not going to go into it, but there are certain things you cannot get rid of that are sexually transmitted diseases, man. They're of a long continuance and they eat away at your body. They eat away at your flesh, with all type of pus and different things that you read about in the book of Leviticus. I wanted to get that next. So, I mean, the Bible covers everything. I mean, you sitting up there doing strange things with beasts, strange things with the nations, strange things with strange flesh in the night. Man may not see it, but the Most High sees it. And there's always a judgment, right? It said plagues of long continuance and sore sicknesses, right? And of a long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, right? That's not talking about your average cough, your average, cough or your bronchitis, man, or your knee ache, or a disease, where you just have what they call it. That's that skin rash, right? You just covering it up, right, with some Neosporin, right, and some shea butter, right? These diseases are on a deeper level to destroy you, right? You have sickle cell, diabetes, but you also have lascivious sexual diseases that cleave unto man, right? Man, it overthrows them. They can't have a partner. They can't have children. Certain women, when they have a seed, right, seed is in them, and they bring forth a man child and or a woman, that disease now cleaves unto their young, man. It says, which thou was afraid of, right? And they shall cleave unto thee. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of the law. I mean, that doesn't have to touch on everything specifically as far as leprosy or, in the book of Leviticus, the 15th chapter, 16th chapters, going into these things. There are other things newly created by the so-called white man and labs, laboratories, and all of these different things concocted and made to overthrow man. Right? They're sticking people, right? All you men that love to get your average checkup and your average stick, right? Because you trust in America so much, you don't know what they put in your body. You don't know what strange liquids and poisons and serums that are oozing out in your body that are going to take effect the next 3 to 5 years. The Lord said, look, every sickness, if you're not obeying these laws, is going to cleave unto you. It says, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. You have many men that had HIV, right, and or AIDS that died. I believe Easy E was one of them, huh? Right, that was so-called famous. He died because of that AIDS disease, man. How many other people? Right, let me get this quick precept. This Leviticus chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse, right, number 3. I'm read like 3 precepts. It says, and this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue or his flesh be stopped from his issue. Right, this is laws on cleanness and uncleanness. Right, laws and being unclean what to do with the matter. It is his uncleanness. Every bed whereon he lieth. You see how the context is showing you it's what you sit upon. Right, it's not talking about an elbow rash. It's not talking about something, a stick scraped you in the woods, as you was, hiking or whatever the case may be, right? Then you have a little blood on the back, right, of your shirt. These are things you sit upon. These are diseases. It says every bed where he lieth, that the issue is unclean. I mean, so, brother can have on shorts, right, or whatever the case may be, and make the whole area unclean. And wicked sexual diseases start to cleave and plagues, and they're embedded in your clothes, they're embedded into a bed sheet. Next thing you know, your children are lying upon it. Right? I mean, these are how wicked and nasty these diseases are. It says, and everything whereupon he sitteth shall be unclean. Right? And I know I said one more, but I got one more. It just said in the law, and everything whereupon he sitteth, I'll just quote it, shall be unclean. And Babylon has set upon all of the nations. It says that in the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter, man. Right? She sit up upon all of the nations, man. Right? And you already know everything she sit up upon is unclean. Right? On a spiritual level, with all of the diseases and the witchcraft, the ideologies, and all manner of wickedness that she spreads abroad through her lewdness and uncleanness. Brothers got it.
Gone. And let me back on what the brother was saying. Now they got this stuff. It's called Prep P, or something along those lines, where it makes it undetectable to see if your sexual partner has HIV. So now they're getting cunning to hide those things, right? To all the young men and young women out there who may be courting somebody, or you're in the process about to get married, we encourage you to have those uncomfortable conversations. Go to the doctor and get checked out, right? You might have stuff from your wild days that you may not know about, but it's good to come into a new union where you're joining one flesh, and to understand that y'all are both clean. Lord forbid y'all got something that's deep rooted inside of you that you didn't know about, right? But this is that PrEP stuff, right? It says PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis, a medication taken by HIV negative individuals to significantly reduce the risk of contracting HIV from sexual or injection drug use. It works by preventing HIV from taking hold to the body. So they have medicine to stop people from spreading HIV. They always show them on the channels that Jake like to watch, BET, MTV, whatever you may be watching. You'll always see these commercials, and what do they always have? Two men holding hands at a fair, right, looking in each other's eyes, right? So they're getting more cunning to try to hide the fact that somebody may be infected with these diseases, right? This is a serious matter, right? And this shows you the repercussions of moving in your own lust, thinking with your own head. Like the brother said, one of these diseases may cleave to you, destroy your household, right? Destroy your body, right? Your member might fall off. You never know what the Most High can have happen, right? There's some diseases that people don't, I want to say is, what's the joint where you get those blisters on your bodies?
Sports.
It's syphilis, I think.
Syphilis.
Syphilis. It's open sores, man. You just start bleeding on your member, right? So you got to be aware of these things, right? Let's go to Psalm 73, and we can start at verse number 3. My brother's about to say something. Okay. Right. Psalm 73 and verse number 3. It reads, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked." Right? So we're envious, or those of the world, when we were ignorant, we were envious at the prosperity of the wicked. Right? Let me back on what the brother Naquam said maybe about 15 minutes ago. All these celebrities, man, right? They're wicked. And we were envious at their cribs, at the chains they had, the women they were around. But deep down inside, you have to do things to get money, right? Nothing in this world is given to you. You have to earn it, right? That goes back to Sirach, the 10th chapter, in the 9th verse, where it talks about why is earth and ashes proud? It's nothing worse than a covetous man. Loosely paraphrasing, or we can bring it out, right? These people do such things behind closed doors, and they're contractually obligated to destroy our community and to get us to engage in those actions, right? It says, "Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man." Right? There's nothing more wicked than a man who covets everything. Right? He sees it and he wants it. I'm gonna get it. I gotta have it. Right? For such as one setteth his own soul to sell. Right? That man may want. Can you hear me?
Con.
God, that man to sell his own soul to get what he wants, right? Because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels, right? While that man liveth, he casteth away his bowels, right? We don't got to get too descriptive, right? For those who don't know, maybe ask somebody in private what that means, right? But that man gives up his soul just to get the things that he wants, right? For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasseth them as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Right? So pride compasses them, man. It's that Pride Month, man. They take the hottest month, right? The hottest month. You know when you've been locked up for so long because it's been cold, you can't go outside, you can't have a good time, right? June is the first month where everything heats up, right? You ready to get outside, you ready to go indulge in whatever you enjoy doing. You may like taking walks at the park, walking by the water, right? Let your kids ride the bike. That's when they want to put their pride out so that everybody can see it. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish, right? And that's the spirit of them sodomites, man, right? Their eyes stand with fatness, man. Everything they see, they just gay it up, man. Everything is gay, right? They even push it on the zoo animals, so you can't even take your children to the zoo, right? Let's jump. We can jump to verse number 10. I'm gonna read two more, and the brothers got it. Right? It says, "Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out on them. And they say, how doeth God know? And there is no knowledge in the Most High." Right? They say all these things like, well, God created me this way, right? Is God going to change me? Right? They real proud with their speech, right? And I should have started at verse 9, right? It says, they set their mouths against the heaven and their tongue walking through the earth, right? They speak blasphemy against the Lord, right? They speak so proud as though they're the Most High, right? They speak as though that they cannot be judged or destroyed. The Lord can't do a 180 on them and everything fall apart. Right, verse number 12. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Right, so those people who you idolize, your favorite rappers, your favorite singers, NBA player, NFL players, watch their mannerisms. Watch how they move. See, they don't move like masculine men. Right, they're real sassy. Right, like the dude Carl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Yep.
Yeah, Carl Anthony Towns, man. He's he trying hard. He trying hard to hold it down, but it's only so much you can hide from that light that's coming out. Right, so be careful who you idolize, man, because the Most High may make you covetous, and you may fall in that same spirit. Look, Zesty Cat. You can't.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
But you got it, y'all done.
I was gonna say, Salaki, real quick, and they be throwing these terms out there. Oh, he's zesty. Oh, he's talking spicy, zesty. Hey, look, he a sodomite, man. You a sodomite. You know, you feminine, you a sodomite. And you see this guy, man. Now he got a woman too. You know, he's supposed to have his woman. And you watch this guy, man. I saw him throw a pass. He threw a pass. A dude was cutting through. I don't know if brother saw that, man. He threw a pass and it had too much damn sugar on it. He just threw sugar on the pass, man. You know? So you got to watch out for these you gotta watch out for these spirits, man. Right? All these spirits. But you got it, Slucky, y'all
His
done.
broken wrists. His wrists are broken.
Yeah, demon
There's
can
no
hop on you,
sturdiness
man.
to it. Hmm?
Yeah. I was saying that demon can hop on you. Get up there in that industry, man. Them people, man, them sodomites, that principality of demons that's over them elites and them big bankers and them top Amalekites, that demon is going to rest on you if you try to get up and obtain to the level instead of the level of the Most High.
So like y'all done. My
Brothers
bad.
hear me?
One more
Oh,
point.
you got it.
Come on, one more point. They got they call it a rumor, but it's they got this thing. It's called
Uh,
it's they got this thing. It's called the Boule Club or the I can't remember what it's something the Boule organization where they have gatekeepers and they bring high class so-called black men in and they usher them into the world of being passed around. Right. And there's people who was in the industry and they talk about it. My man who used to hoop, he used to play football. He was the running back for the Chiefs back in the day.
Priest Holmes.
Not Priest Holmes. What's the other one? Larry something.
I know you're talking about Larry
Yeah,
Johnson.
Larry Johnson. Right. He's exposing all the stuff that goes on behind the closed doors. Right. So you can't say you don't know. You have firsthand accounts of people going through such things. But
Hey,
you got
one
it,
more point, Salaki, real quick. Even Denzel in that movie Gladiator 2, he said that said he kissed the dude, man. And the director had to tell him, we didn't put that in the script. He said, well, I want to go off script.
right.
I wanted to kind of, add some flavor to it. And he was looking at me and I was looking at him. And even Esau, the director, said, whoa, well, you gotta look, Denzel, you have to take it back a notch, man. So, even Denzel, even these men that you look up to, man, your Will Smiths, your Denzels, your all these guys, man, these guys are all into this, man. And that again, that spirit will fall on you if you're not under the protection of Yahweh Bashmi Abashad. It's a heavy demon, Salaki.
Done.
No, that's for real. Can brothers hear me?
Come.
Done.
You know, that happened with Jamie Foxx. Unfortunately, a brother seen it. It kind of just popped up in the movie scene with no warning. He had his junk grabbed. He had his mailbox grabbed by Esau. And Esau walked away with food. But can I get Judges 19:1? Sure. I think that was Django. He was about to castrate him. And it came to pass in those days. Can I get the NIV, Baba Shah?
Con.
Grab the damn junk mail. In those days, Israel had no king, right? Can we jump down to verse 20, Baba Shah? And I'm just going to dive right into it. So you are all welcome at my house. The old man said, let me supply whatever you need. Only spend the night in the square. So he took him into his house and fed his donkeys. After they had washed their feet, they had something to eat and to drink. And we get verse 21. While they were enjoying themselves, some of the wicked men of the city surrounded the house. So it's going to explain to us why these men were wicked, right? Because a lot of people like to go, a lot of freaks, they like to justify their lifestyle. Well, Proverbs 17:15 tells us, he who justifies the wicked. And so they'll go to Leviticus 18 and say, oh, that really means boy. Or, that means pedophile. And you go to Romans and say, no, that really means this. Well, Paul is going to tell us what wickedness is. Continue. Where we go? Oh. So he took him to his house, his donkeys, after they had washed their feet. They had something to eat and drink. Verse 22. While they were enjoying the wicked men of the city surrounded the house, pounding on the door. They shouted to the old man who owned the house, bring out the man who came to your house so we can freak off with him. So that's what wickedness is. If there's any confusion, if they're still trying to justify it, this was wicked men surrounding the house, just desiring flesh, trying to upload them. But with that, I yield.
Yeah, Con. So you breaking up a little bit, Yaradan.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, it was just yeah. I'm gonna get can we go to First Thessalonians real quick? And that's a wicked account, man. Them wicked sons of Belial, that started the whole civil war. Many men died because of that, man. Off of an act of sodomy and wickedness. First Thessalonians chapter 4 and 3. For this is the will of God, even your sanctification, that ye should abstain from fornication. And fornication it can be adultery, it can be bestiality, it can be sodomy, it can be incestuous relationships, it can be all of that, right? All of those are forms of lewd, immoral sexual acts between man and whatever man is with, right? It reads that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor. And the laws of the Most High teach you these things, man. The laws of the Most High not just don't eat pork and don't eat crab. The laws teach you how to possess your vessel. The Lord said, "Be ye therefore holy, for I am holy." In Leviticus the 19th chapter, he teaches you what to abstain from. In order to possess your vessel in sanctification and honor, you're also taught what's dishonorable. You're taught what's unclean, right? You're taught what's an abomination, what defiles you. So if you want to possess your vessel, which is your body, in sanctification and honor, you have to commit yourself in the flesh and the spirit to do things that are righteous, man. It reads, not in the lust of concupiscence, even as the Gentiles which know not God. And this is a heavy spirit of concupiscence. And that's not a word that they throw out there often, right? Esau, he'll like to throw all of these strange words out there when you're learning. And, you got these spelling bees, these scientific words, but lasciviousness, concupiscence, licentiousness, these are words that the Most High's put in the Bible, right? And these are things that should be part of a brother's vocabulary, right? These are things that we should have learned growing up, man. Not damn super cali, fragilistic and all of these damn, can you spell encyclopedia? No, these are the things that we should have been taught. What is concupiscence? What is fornication? What is lasciviousness? How do you control yourself, man? And this is the spirit of the Epicureans. We're gonna go into that too, King Baba Kashad, in Acts 17th chapter. So concupiscence is strong sexual lust, right? And we're going to dive into, you had two major philosophies of the Greeks. You had the Stoics and you had the Epicureans in Acts the 17th chapter when Paul went to Athens, right? This Acts chapter 17 and verse number 18. Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and of the Stoics encounter him, and some said, what will this babbler say? Others said, he seemeth to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Yahweh Shai and the resurrection. Now, can you go in the Greek word for Epicurean, Baba Kashan, the blue letter? Right? Because that's the spirit of the Epicurean didn't just fall in Athens when Athens fell. That's an actual demon. Them Greeks were pure sodomites, man. They show that in that movie. Let's see, they don't really go. You might have to type in Epicurus, right? They didn't really go into. They used to go into it. I remember. They used to have a more of a definition in the blue letter. Now they kind of got away from it. So you might have to type in Epicurean like regular Google or something. They should just give you the definition. But that was them Greeks, man, in that movie Alexander the Great with Colin Farrell. All of those guys are sodomites, man. All them Greeks are sodomites. All of the Romans were sodomites. The German Nazis, they would dress up like women. These American men, they're sodomites in the army. See, they're not really going into it. They got that on the bottom. Okay, let's see. See that? There you go. Throughout the king. An Epicurean is someone who values and enjoys sensual pleasures particularly fine food and drink, and is considered luxurious or refined in taste. The term also relates to the philosophy of Epicureanism, which emphasizes the pursuit of pleasure, right? And the avoidance of pain, particularly through moderation and simplicity. And Esau doesn't want you to live a simple life. Man with a woman is too simple for him, man. He's bored being with just a woman, man. Right? He's not into moderation. They enjoy pleasures in the absence of pain. They're against suffering. They're against going through the fire. They're against discipline. So the spirit of the Epicurean that Paul dealt with is what we're currently dealing with. We're dealing with the sodomite spirit, the spirit of the Epicurean, right? And America's one of the main things is the pursuit of your own happiness. That's part of their constitution, that you have a right to pursue your own happiness, man. Right? Where is that at in the scriptures? So they want to pursue pleasure and lust. Can you pull up one more word? Hedonism. Hedonism. It's another spirit that was in Greece. Hedonism. Right? This pursuit. The pursuit of pleasure and self-indulgence, self-gratification, excess, intemperance. You see that? Epicureanism, right? So these are different spirits. This is a main philosophy and spirit of America. In the month of June, too, man, when Amos, he was saying that people come out, you have a lot of demonic activity. Murder rate, I was thinking murder rate increases when it's warm out. People get murdered more, man. Sodomites come out more. More people are getting molested, man. There's church events, there's more fornication, there's more robbery, there's more demonic activity, chiefly in the summertime, due to the natural state of man coming out, man. There's more man on the earth, and there's more wickedness on the earth in man. So naturally, it's coupled with more demonic murder and sodomy and all of this wickedness going on through the spirit. Right? So the Most High, can you go back to 1 Thessalonians 4? To read that one more time. In verse 5, it reads, not in the lust of concupiscence, even as the Gentiles which know not God. Right? So the Gentiles are the other nations. They don't know the Most High, man. You don't want to be in the spirit, or I'll say this too, because a lot of brothers, you were taught that, to say, hey, they could do that, but just don't do it over here. Or, that's their business, just don't so-and-so. Or, I don't have an opinion, or I'm indifferent, or you have to take a stance. Once you come into the knowledge of Yahweh Shai, you have to take a stance. Rather something is righteous or wicked. There's no more straddling the fence. There's no more indifferent, nonchalant, I'm too cool, whatever. All of that goes out the window when you repent and come to the knowledge of Yahweh Shai. And if you say sodomy is anything other than wickedness, then you're not going to make it to the kingdom, huh? If you don't take a hard stance this day concerning good and evil, you're not going to make it, man. I don't know. That's not, I got my friend, but that's my sister. It's wickedness. And you have to take that approach. Or again, you're not going to be on that chariot, man. Right, brothers, God.
Come. That's right. I'm going to get the book of Romans, right? Chapter 1 and verse 25. Right, it's the book of Romans, chapter 1 in verse number 25. And it reads, it says, who changed the truth of God into a lie? Right? Because the Most High, he gave you the truth. But what does man do? Man has wicked inventions. I want to get there real fast in Ecclesiastes. See, man creates inventions, right? 4,000 years ago, they didn't have, these different, I don't even know what it's called, where they take, that flubber and they have you to have a surgery, and now you have a woman part, man. These new inventions, doctors, anesthesia, putting you to sleep, right? Giving you the image of having bigger lips, and all of these are the inventions of man, which corrupted, right, mankind. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse, right, number 29. Lo, this only have I found, that God had made man upright, right? Meaning what? He gave him the laws so that this man could uprightly keep the laws of God and be in the image of God, right? He made him upright to be in the image of his own immortality. But they have sought out many inventions. So there are thousands of inventions that have been created over the hundreds of years that have corrupted man. Like I said, you got lip injections, you got BBLs, right? You got the thing, like I said, you lay on the table, right? They change in different parts. That's why you shouldn't be a donor. Here you are, you get in a car accident, or God forbid, you don't wake up from a coma, right? In the time they want you to, you wake up and you don't have none of your parts now, man. Your eyes missing, your man part missing. For some creep and deep and demon to walk around, right? What you have, man, that's off. That's the inventions of Esau. He like to play a mad, wicked scientist doctor to do all of these wild things. Says who have changed the truth of God into a lie and worship, right? And serve the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Right? And who do they worship? They worship Esau. They worship that he can make their dreams come true. Right? I always felt like I was a woman in a man's body. I always felt like I was a man in a woman's body, man. Those are demons from a child.
Right.
And you have certain people, even as a youth, you could tell certain children are effeminate. Right? You may, witness, you may be riding a bus, maybe on a train, right? Or you may, have a family, and you got to really step in as a parent and or father and or, uncle or whatever case may be, to start recognizing these things and bringing these things into tuition, lest he turn 8 or 9 or 11 and 12, and you already saw that spirit on him the whole time. A lot of parents are oblivious. No, that's just how he is. No, he just loves his sisters. Mom like to make excuse for all the wickedness of their son, man. They'll never want to tell their son or look at their son for what they're really doing. Next thing you know, he's giving over to that, right? And he's sneaking out, and you think he's going to go, to the lake, right? It says, for this cause, God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their woman did change the natural use, right, into that which is against nature. And it's against nature for a woman to lie down with another woman, man. It's morally impossible. It's wickedness. And without Esau's inventions, it doesn't make sense. You're getting off and you're taking things that are unnatural into a bedroom where the Lord did not ordain that to be a righteous marriage. It says, and likewise, also the men, leaving the natural use of a woman. It's easy to love a woman, right? We have natural pheromones. A brother may play basketball, he may sweat. A brother has a natural scent to him, right? He may walk by and allure that woman, and or vice versa. A woman has a natural pheromone to her. She may walk by, right? That's just natural to feel these different things. You got dogs and different beasts, they be in heat and they let off a scent. You understand? They could be, 3 blocks down, a mile down. They allure, right, the opposite sex, not the same sex. It says, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust. And that's one thing about covetousness. Like Amos pulled it earlier, there's not more of a wicked thing, right? Sirach, the 10th chapter, verse 9 all the way down, right? Than a covetous man. See, covetousness is wanting and desiring something that doesn't belong to you. See, when you burn in your love, you got to read this in the spirit. I mean, they know it's wrong, but they get off on, like having a brother's wife, you know it's wrong. So that wicked demon gets off that much more. Robbing the bank and sneaking around. You know it's wrong, but that spirit in you gets off so much, it's the thrill. Stealing a car, driving 200 on a dash. These are thrills and wild demonic spirits that really flourish in man. When you know it's wrong, you're just burning in things, right? Sexual lust, right? Physical carnal lust. It says burned in their lust one toward another. Men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet, right? Even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge. So this could very well be men like brothers were going on to, men in this truth. You were once mighty, you know. And I heard a brother say, a brother was falling out the truth, and then, as he, segue out the truth, right? One of his arguments was, there's nothing wrong with homosexuality. You know, that had to be on that brother's spirit to even say something like that. What will possess a man to defend homosexuality and wickedness and sodomy, right, as he leaves the truth? See, certain things are embedded in man's mind that he's too ashamed to bring forth or fast out or even talk about, man. If these demons are around you, you know, all on you, and or you having thoughts or whatever the case may be, fast, pray. Don't let the wickedness of America, because America forced you into what? Getting drunk. It forced you into cigarettes, blacks, weed, parties. And it's also pushing our children chiefly, right? Because the older generation, you know, they kind of segue, you know, and seeing the rise of America, but our children are born into it. The cartoons, the social media, right? Disney Channel, all of these different things, they're pushing it as if it's normal. It's okay to feel this way. It's not okay to feel that way, man. It says, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind. See, when you're reprobate, you withdraw from something. Meaning you may want to read, you withdraw from it. You want to pray, you withdraw from it. You're all over the place. You're like a waving wave of the sea. You're like a child shaken to and fro. You understand? You're like wandering stars. These are all things the scripture saith, right? You're double-minded. When you're reprobate, you believe something, but then my heart feels this way. So God will give you over to those things if you don't truly, like the brother said, expel those thoughts and either be on the side of righteousness or wickedness. It says to do those things which are not convenient. Brothers got it.
That remind me of this precept. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 12. We can start at verse number 20. Right? That goes back to like 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, with the fornication that was going on amongst the church, where the young man was laying with his father's wife. Right? And the whole church knew about it. Right? That's a huge debacle that'll overthrow a church. Right? And for that information to get back to Paul, how deep do you think they really got into it? You know what I'm saying? But this is 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse number 20. For I fear, at least when I come, I shall not find you as I would, and that I shall be found unto you such as you would not. Right? So if he come back and he finds you and you doing things you ought not to do, you know, that's a terrible way to get caught. You know, like your mom told you to take out the meat so she could cook dinner. Right? And you hear the keys going into the door. You try to run and grab the meat and put it under some water to quickly thaw it out. You were already caught in the act. Right? Least there be debates, envying, wraths, strifes, backbitings, whispering, swellings, tumults. And least when I come again, my God will humble me among you, and that I shall bewail many which have sinned already. Right? So next time he comes, he's going to bewail them. He's going to cry. Because the Lord is going to exact more judgment than us men can do. Right? Yeah, brothers may be in positions of leadership, but that's nothing compared to the judgment of the Most High. Right? And have not repented of the uncleanliness and the fornication and lasciviousness which they have committed. Right? So they doing all this. I'm so righteous. I'm so this. I'm so that. But you still deep down inside, like the brother said, he want to save homosexuals as he's falling out the truth. Right? It was an account in another camp. This was years ago. It might have been like 8 years ago. Right? A brother was falling out the truth, and essentially he fell out and he started dealing with a transsexual unicorn. Right? I know brothers probably remember that. You start dealing with a transsexual unicorn. So you haven't repented of these actions. These actions are attached to you. Right? Like how that spirit in Tobit was attached to her. That's how these spirits attached to these men and to these women who can't shake it. Right? They trying to fight it, but deep down inside, they still got that little warm sensation when they think about men biceps, right? Or the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, whatever weird fetish that they had, and it starts to creep back up, right? That's the definition of those who have sinned already and will not repent, because this stuff shouldn't even be mentioned among us, right? We shouldn't be able to tie murder to the brother Naquan name or theft to the brother Uriah name because we forsook those old men and we're new creatures in Yahushua. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5 and start at verse number 1. So as you come into this truth or you're walking in this truth, certain spirits should never be attached to your name. Right? You got to have honor. You got to have dignity. You have to have self-respect. And first and foremost, you got to have fear of the Most High. Right? This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 1. Be ye therefore followers of Yahweh as dear children, and walk in love as Hamashiach has also loved us and has given himself for us, an offering, a sacrifice to Yahweh for a sweet smelling Savior. But fornication and all uncleanliness or covetousness, let it not be once named among us or amongst you as becoming saints. Right? So nobody should be asking why you still dealing with prostitutes while you've been in the truth 5 years. Right? Why you still dealing with adultery and you've been in the truth a year and a half? Right? You're becoming a saint. Right? You're shutting off that old man. You're mortifying your members and you're becoming perfect in the sight of the Lord. Right? Because the Lord commanded us to be perfect. Yeah, we're going to slip up. Yeah, we're going to have heartaches. Yeah, we're going to have rough days. But you're becoming perfect in the sight of the Lord by keeping these ordinances that he commanded us to do. Right? Look at Steph Curry. Right? Steph Curry, the greatest shooter that we've ever seen. Right? You don't think he missed free throws in the game? Yeah, he missed a free throw. Yeah, he'll fall short. He could have had 40, but he got 39 because he missed that free throw. Does that make him any less of a great shooter? Absolutely not. So you got to keep fighting these things and not having these things attached to your name. Right? Verse number 4. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. So you shouldn't have this filthiness and foolish talk gravitating towards you, because such spirits cleave unto like spirits, like the brothers was going into. Right? We're not going to be around a whole bunch of thieves and murderers if we're not a thief or a murderer. So if you're at the workplace and they talking about how they did so-and-so with so-and-so last night and you're just sitting there entertaining it, that spirit is getting worked back up. And that mortified member is being revived. Right? Or that unmortified member is being revived. Well, I thought I said it right the first time. Right? That thing that was attacking you before is coming back to life. So those things that you are struggling with, you got to get it away from your name. You got to avoid it at all costs. Because one slip, you can fall down that rock or that hill or that slippery rock and you'll never be able to get back up. Right? But brothers got it.
God. Let's go to Jude, right? It's a heavy spirit, man. Let's go to Jude 1 and 7. Jude verse 7, rather, man. Right? Jude verse 7, it reads, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them, those additional 3 cities, in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. So it's not as if those cities are literally on fire to this day. It's speaking about the eternal fire, which is a hyperbole, extreme, exaggerated talk of the judgment that befell them. Huh? And it's set forth as an example. So if you indulge in that lifestyle, if you have created a city, a kingdom, you have entire, you pull up the top sodomite cities, king, or homosexual cities in the world, you have cities that are ranked as, if I'm a sodomite, where I want to go. You can go to Madrid, Spain. You can go to Tel Aviv. You can go to DC. You can go to San Francisco. You can go to all these different places, man. They have it ranked for you. Look at this. In the world, New York, San Francisco, Toronto, LA, Mexico City, man. Now, how did Mexico City, the land of the ancient Aztecs, become one of the top sodomite cities in the world? Right? These other cities really don't surprise me, man. Look at Buenos Aires, Argentina. Right? Naphtali. Right? Look at them, drunk off the wine. You got Issachar and Asher and Naphtali and all these cities, man. These are the top sodomite cities in the world, man. And a lot of time, you go to them cities and you live there, and them spirits are gonna hop on you. A lot of these cities I hate, man. I hate New York, man. Time I go to New York, I just feel damn condensed and just demons everywhere, especially Times Square, man. And DC. There's no other place I hate more than Washington, DC. We haven't been to DC in like 2 years, man. A year and a half pushing, right? Holding cap. Hey, DC is wicked, man. Right? So the Lord said, all these cities are going to be destroyed, man. Stop thinking of nuclear fires is going to be in America. When you have rampant cities throughout the world that are well known for pushing pure freakism and madness, man. This is the drunkenness of the great whore, man. Look at this. You got Moabites. You got East. Look at it, the nomadic boys, right? Those look like Filipinos, right? Them flips, them flips be out there. Was that Taiwan? They got the lady boys.
The lady boys, man.
Yeah, the lady boys, man. They call them the late. You don't gotta type that one in, right? The lady boys. Don't type that one in, brothers. Whoever watching, leave that alone, man. Right? The lady boys will show up. And if you're watching this and you kind of smile, you kind of figuring this thing out, you're trying to, and you need to repent, man. You know, brothers watching this, okay, well, damn, lady boys, what's that? And Jake, you always trying to figure something out, man. Look at this. Here's number one. I don't even see. Oh, damn. Wilton Manors, Florida. That's what all them old Edomites go to retire and freak off. You're not invited. It's just old sodomites, 65 and up. Right? Massachusetts, Provincetown. Those are old, damn, what they call them, patriots, man. Right? Just freaking off. What's number 3? California, that makes sense. Atlanta makes sense. That's where Jake go to freak off. I want to go to Morehouse. Why? Their education. Well, what do you know about the education? I don't know. It's just a good school, right? Look at this, and they got more, man. Yeah, this one looks a little bit more what I'm familiar with, right? San Francisco, right? Atlanta, number 2, and there are actual principalities of demons, and these might be some of the first places the missiles hit, man. So St. Louis is number 8 in sodomy and number 1 in murder. Just a wicked city, man. How you number 1 in murder and number 8 in sodomy? And them brothers be down there in St. Louis putting the work in, man. Battling all types of demons. So can you go back to Jude real quick? I'm gonna get one more after this. It reads, going after strange flesh, or being with a man is strange flesh. You're set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. And let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and 9. Right? So this man, they're gonna have flags everywhere, freakism everywhere, right? And this society teach you to explore yourself, to figure out who you are, scratch that itch, right? You got to try this that one time, right? You got to do this, you got to do that, right? You got to hey, this is a corrupt society, man. You know, you got Jake in prison, man. Like that movie. What's that movie with Q-Tip? And his man tried to make a move on him. Songbird.
Prison song,
man. You end up like Q-Tip on Prison Song. You my boy, ain't you my boy? You know? So hey, Jake be in prison, man, dealing with each other. It's demons everywhere, man. Right? It reads, but wisdom, I'm gonna read verse 9. It's like, but wisdom is the gray hair unto man, and an unspotted life is old age, right? You could be an old man, but that doesn't mean you have wisdom. You could be a young man, and your wisdom is equivalent to you having that same experience. Verse number 10, he pleased God and was beloved of him, so that living amongst sinners, he was translated. And this goes to the elect on one level, but it also goes into Enoch, right? And this is our example. We live amongst sinners. Yeah, we do sin. We fall short, but we're not in that category, right? If we're in the spirit of Yahweh Shemiah Mashai, we are living amongst sinners. And the same way that Enoch was translated, it's the same way, most high willing, we're going to be translated. You don't think they had sodomites in the days of Enoch, man? You don't think they had murderers out there? It reads, yea, speedily was he taken away, lest that wickedness should alter his understanding, or deceit beguile his soul. For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest, and the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind. So the Lord has to get us out of here, man. It says, speedily was he taken away. Because if we were here, God forbid, 50 more years, you're going to have brothers falling out the truth to sodomy. You know, that demon will increase so much and so much, even a strong brother could fall out of this thing, man. Right? So the Most High has to speedily get us out of here. There are the Lord has cutoff points. The Lord even said in the days of Jacob's trouble, if he didn't cut the time short, no flesh will be saved. Because of them demons, the murder demons. So the Lord has to cut the time short. Right? I'm gonna read verse 12 again. For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest. You know, simple terms, sin blinds man from the truth. Right? That's naughtiness. Seduction and sin stops man from seeing what's right. And the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind, man. See that? And that's the wandering of concupiscence. That's what the society wants to promote. Not just concupiscence, the wandering of it, the curiosity, the experiments. What is this? And how would this feel? And if I touch this and this happened here, it's a real freaked out society, man. You know? And you might have coworkers, man. Men got a damn crush on you. You might not even know it, man. And they go home, they thinking about you, man. And you guys, you brothers that be going to the gym, man, you got guys in them gym, them dudes are watching you, man. Some of them dudes are watching you. You know? They wait till you go to the gym and they pull up, man. They dap you up. They may come off masculine, but them guys are sodomites, man. They going home, tossing and turning, thinking about the next time they're gonna see you at the gym. So this is a freaked out kingdom, man. Sports be all freaked out. You got dudes slapping dudes on a butt, man. You know, people be whipping the towel and dudes be pouring champagne down each other. And this society got to go, man. When they win the finals, they be popping the champagne and all of that, man. You seen Chris Bosh, man. Right? them demons be coming out. So the Lord got to get us out of here, man. The Lord has to get us out of here. And he's going to do that because, again, if he didn't, you know, sisters could fall victim to that. Men could fall victim to that. The world, our flesh isn't created to deal with the height of the Most High's demons. We're not created to deal with those demons. We're created to deal with the demons that allow us to suffer to get to the truth. But there are demons that the Most High can put on you that you can't do nothing about. And the Most High is putting more and more demons on the earth. But our flesh isn't created to handle that. So he has to get us out of here and destroy the society, man. You know? But brother,
Con.
one more point. I'm gonna read one more Salaki.
Oh yeah, con.
One more on that Salaki. I'm gonna jump down to 15. It reads, this the people saw and understood it not. Neither laid they up this in their minds, that his grace and mercy is with the saints, and he hath respect unto his chosen. So it's a merciful thing for you to be in this truth, man, and not to be into these different demons or promote it, man. That's for the elect. The brothers got it.
Con. Yeah, I'm about to get a second address. Right.
Okay.
It's the mighty book of second address, chapter 8. And I'm going to start at verse 26. Right? It says, "O look not upon the sinners of thy people, but on them which serve thee in truth." Right? Because you got a lot of wicked sinners of our people. But the Most High, he's only going to look on those that keep the commandments. Regard not the wicked inventions of the heathen. And there you go again with the wicked inventions of the heathen. It's the same thing that Solomon spoke about. I mean, from the toys and the things that Esau has invented, a woman feels like she doesn't even need a man, a wicked woman. Right? She can go to a store. She get paid on a Thursday. She skips to the store. She comes out with God knows what, and she's fine, right? She's a supervisor. She's a manager, whatever the case may be. She pay her own rent, pay her own bills. Her children are taken care of. She tuck them into sleep, right? And next thing you know, she's not thinking about a man because of the wicked inventions of Esau and the sexual lascivious, things that he has created, not only to trap our women, but to overthrow them, man. I mean, when you really look at it, Esau gives you financial help to the woman, her all type of lascivious toys and different things like that. Right? They have these no man rants and different things like they put in movies, social media. I mean, to a wicked woman, she doesn't even need a man at all, man. These are the inventions of the heathen. Regard not the wicked inventions of the heathen, but the desire of those that keep thy testimonies, right, and afflictions. It says, think not upon those that have walked vainly before thee, but remember them which according to thy will have known thy fear, right? Thy fear. Let it not be thy will to destroy them which have lived like beasts. Now, what do beasts do? Right? Let me get this quick precept in Sirach, right? Chapter 17. The Lord tells you the mindset of a beast. The beasts don't have cogitation, they have a thought process, right? They don't have wisdom. They act off of instinct. A beast will smell a scent, right? And immediately, a dog and another dog will be doing God knows what right in front of you, man, in the living room. They have no sense, no privacy, no intelligence. They act solely off the instinct and their own lust and their own pleasures. Right? This is the book of Sirach, chapter 17, in verse number 5. They receive the use of the five operations. We're going into hearing, smelling, touch, etc. of the Lord, and in the sixth place, he imparted them understanding, right? So the beasts don't have understanding, right? But man has understanding. And in the seventh speech, in the interpretation of cogitation thereof. So the Lord gave man, the understanding of cogitation, to understand things, wisdom, knowledge, prudence, breaking down parables, right? Common sense, right? These different beats don't have that. That's why the Lord says certain men on this earth, they just live like beasts, man. Right? Here you are, it's your blood brother, but you took down his wife, man. And the more wickedness you do in the world, the more seemingly cooler you are, or seemingly uplifted, right? Another notch on your belt, right? He done took her down, or he done took this woman from him, and he done did this. The more wickedness you do, the more people look at you and put you high up at a pedestal like you're a god or something. It says, which have lived like beasts, but to look upon them which have clearly taught thy law, right? It says, take thou no indignation at them which are deemed worse than beasts. You have certain people, the behavior that they bring forth is worse than a beast. It's not talking about, the way a dog looks or the way a cat looks. It's their behavior, right? Because man takes on the attributes of these different animals. We kind of touched on that at the Sabbath service last Shabbat through the Spirit. Or you have a sheep, or you have these different animals the Lord said that are likened unto Israel. But do you have a serpent, a fox, right? An eagle, a kine, a fowl of the air? Or these different sneaking creatures of the field that creep out by night, the Lord likens the wicked unto, and the ungodly. And the ungodly, they come out at night, man. Right? They don't like light. They like to be, all in the wild and do the things that they want to do. They hate order, right? So they have the attributes of a natural brute beast. It says, take thou no indignation, right, at them which are deemed worse than beasts, but love them that always put their trust in righteousness and glory, right? So the Lord, again, is going to spare those, right, that keep the commandments, but all those that are wicked, that hate order, the Lord is going to destroy. I'm going to get one more through the Spirit. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. Salakia, I want 16.
Using
Second.
15.
Say it again.
Using 15.
Con. Think of one verse 50. Right. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and 50. Salakia 49. Like as an whore envieth a right, honest, and virtuous woman. So anybody that has whorish ways and demonic ways, they hate virtuousness. No woman that's a whore, wants to dress up comely. She doesn't want to wrap herself up, right? She appeases to show herself, man. Right? The way a woman takes a picture, a whorish woman may be known by her looks and her haughty eyes. It says, like as in a whore envieth, right? Jealous, hatred, and honest, a right and honest and virtuous woman. So shall righteousness, right, hate iniquity, man. Right? So righteousness is going to hate iniquity. If you're righteous, you're going to hate all iniquity and all wickedness. That's why our brothers is so zealous, man. There's no polite way to say, get off of her to that sister. There's no polite way to say, brother, put him down, man. There's no polite way to say these things. You got all fairies and all type of creatures and beasts all in the harbor, man. Right? You have this one little fairy. He skipped up and down the harbor, man, looking for souls to hunt. It says, so shall righteousness hate iniquity when she decketh herself, and shall accurse her to her face when he cometh that shall defend him that diligently searcheth out every sin upon the earth. And the Lord is going to search out every single sin upon the earth. That's why you can't hide your secret sins. And sin isn't just always something you physically do. You have a lot of wickedness that's embedded into man. Like it says in Mark, the 7th chapter, all this cometh within. So before you commit adultery, you think about it. You tossing and turning. You imagining. You dreaming about it. Right? Your mind is already thinking of scenarios and you done played it out before you even got the woman's number and or took her. So you got to check these spirits and demons that lie within. Brothers got it.
Can you add something, Amos?
Now his brothers had something else. We can keep going, but we can.
Yeah. I got one more real quick, or another one real quick. Let's go to the book of Actually, I want to pull this up real quick first. So I typed in can you type in how many sexual orientations there are? Right now, you don't even have. They don't even give you a number. Right, as far as I know, see that there is no set number of sexual orientations. Well, where's that in the scriptures? Well, there's an indefinite amount. There's no limit. As the spectrum is vast and evolving. So that shows that that links up with Matthew 24, 12 on down. Iniquity shall abound, and the love of many shall wax cold. So if iniquity is abounding, that means sin is increasing. And that's why they have more and more sexual orientation by the day. And if you don't call somebody at the plantation on the email, they got these people that put he and I and address me as she, and you can say them. If you call somebody a he, but he's a them, hey, they could sue you. They could fight you, man. And you get pulled up by the police. How you doing, sir? Excuse me, man. Right? I'm a she, or I'm a them, and all hell could break loose. So you have all of this confusion on the earth, man. Let's go to Isaiah 24 and 9. Man, we got to get out of here, man. It's going to be a wicked, you don't even want to go out in public, man. Just so much wickedness and freakism. Isaiah 24 and 9, it reads, they shall not drink wine with the song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Meaning all of the mirth and the joy and the festivities are going to be taken away from America. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. So this is the city of confusion. That's why it's called Babylon the Great. Goes back to the Hebrew word babal, which means confusion. It goes back to Genesis where the Lord confounded the languages and man had a spirit of confusion where they couldn't communicate to one another to build that wicked city and tower. But that same spirit is in America, man. This is the city of confusion. Right? When you address a man and say, how you doing, sir? He say, I'm a woman, man. And he got a deep voice. And brother handed a flyer to a man. Well, he handed a flyer to a woman, but the woman came up and grabbed the flyer. Then he grabbed it, but it was really a man. And he ran off, man. You know how many freaks we see at the harbor?
Right.
When we have to discern, is that a man or a woman? This is the only place in the land of the living where you have to guess, is this a man or is that a woman? And some of these guys, they be what's the word I'm looking for? They be what they say unaliving now. right? They be unaliving these guys, man. You go into these clubs, man. You add some Patron, some Remy, some damn some whatever you drinking. These people be drinking out there, man. Right? You this woman make this advance on you, you know. Y'all get to talking, y'all get to flirting, y'all get to getting the Uber, y'all get to going back to your spot, you know. Y'all get to laying down, you get to getting up, right? And he says, excuse me, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette, right? And he gets up and go and damn smoke a cigarette, stands up and pees it all on the floor, man. And some of these guys be killing these guys, man. Some of these guys actually get off knowing that this guy is a woman. You know, like they act like they don't, but they're into that. So Jake is getting enticed by these spirits. This is the massive city of confusion. You got to look for the damn your hands, the Adam apple. It's too much demons going on. So if you got a righteous, virtuous woman, man, you better hold on to that, man. Because I couldn't imagine being out. You had a point, Amos?
Quick point. It was a football player at Virginia Tech, right? He was a standout football player. He got on one of those little apps, you know, the dating apps, the quick hookup apps, and met up with this Edomite. He thought was an older Edomite woman. Turned out to be a dude. And so he invited the dude back over and ended up killing him. You know, threw away his whole football career, his scholarship, his livelihood over one instance of lust, of not controlling it.
Well, Jake didn't learn because the Most High created that demon, Jeffrey Dahmer, right? He created that demon and manifest himself, and he was murdering all you sodomite Jakes and eating you, man. So you still don't learn. The Lord created a demon. You would think you would learn after that. The Most High created the Edomite, man, right? To capture you, pop you, and eat you, man. Like it did. Some sick stuff, man. That's some sick stuff, man. Right? You would think, man, that you would learn. It was Jeffrey, Jeffrey Dahmer, man. And Jake, you was watching the damn movie, man. You watched every episode of the series. Jeffrey Dahmer, man. And they voted this guy the most handsome man alive. Right? Look at this. He's not a bad guy. You have to really think about him, right? Really think about what he went through. You know, give him a break. Right? Look at that sympathy. Look at that. Can you go back one? Sympathy for
Salaki.
That's all right. See that third one?
This
Reddit.
one?
You don't gotta click it. You don't gotta click it though. It says sympathy for Dahmer. You know? So people that think sympathetic, well, maybe he didn't mean to do that. You know, you gotta really figure this thing out. And then you look up one more thing, the Stonewall riots, because this is what Pride Month comes from. What you call the Stonewall riots, where you had these sodomites that was raising hell, man. It says the Stonewall riots. So, Jake, you have nothing to do with this. Why? If you have nothing to do with this, these were Edomite men and young boys on ecstasy and LSD in the late 60s in the age of damn bugging out and drugs. You have attached yourself to a bunch of demons. So the Stonewall riots or the rebellion were a series of spontaneous riots and demonstrations against a police raid that took place in the early morning hours of June 28th, 1969. And that was a heavy year that the Most High created. That's when the truth really started springing out. That's when Esau claimed he was going out in the so-called moon. Man. That's when interracial relationships started increasing. Weed and drugs and experiments and sodomy and freakism. That was a heavy year that the Most High made, man. It reads, and the Stonewall Inn in the Greenwich Village neighborhood of Lower Manhattan. Although the demonstration was not the first time sodomites, we don't have to call them what they want us to call them, right? We don't have to respect them. Not the first time sodomites fought back against government-sponsored persecution of sexual minorities. And what the hell is a sexual minority, man? Stop falling for the okie doke, man. SGM, right? They're sinners, wicked men. The Stonewall riots marked a new beginning in the sodomite rights movement in the United States across the world, right? Now I'm gonna read one more. It says American sodomites in the 50s and 60s faced the legal system more anti-homosexual because America, they that was frowned upon at one time. But can you go to that picture right there? That's who you're backing up. Look at them sodomites in the back. That's who you're with, man. You're supporting a movement of sodomite, Hamites, and Edomites, and Moabites, and predominantly Esau. Young men that was popping each other off of ecstasy from their father's cocaine and all types of damn LSD in the 60s and DMT, right? And all types of damn pills, man. You got Fred from Scooby-Doo. You got
Right.
you got the guy from the Beatles. And all these
Shaggy.
guys, yeah, they was all popping each other. And now you say, you know what? I support the Pride Month. Right? You just naked, man. Don't know what to wear and what to support. Right? So this was a wicked rebellion of madness, man. Sodomite liberation. So this is where Pride Month comes from. And another quick point, the rainbow is supposed to be it's like a righteous creation of the Most High, man. Right? I know brothers want to touch on the rainbow, but you can't take the rainbow, which symbolized the covenant that the Most High made with his creation. Right? It reads, so the rainbow came after the flood, right? I do set my bow in a cloud, and it shall be a token, or be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you, and every living creature of all flesh, and the water shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. So the Most High even has a rainbow above his throne, right? You don't need the water, what they say, water, a prism, and a light to make a rainbow. The Most High has one above his throne. And it symbolized how the Most High killed everybody. So how are you going to take the rainbow, which is a token of a massive post-death event, and make it about being a sodomite? Not Jake. Brothers can't even wear a rainbow. Joseph had a coat of many colors. I'm led to believe it was like a rainbow. So if Joseph was on the earth right now, and they'll look at Joseph crazy. And then Joseph, he'll look at you crazy, man. So these are these different, and that's the precept. One more, Revelation, I believe it's chapter 4 and 3. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne in the sight like unto an emerald. So I believe in the Apocrypha, if I'm not mistaken, it tells you the rainbow is like a circle, man. So the Most High has a rainbow circle around the throne, right? In Ecclesiastes 43. So the rainbow is not something meant to be taken and gentrified and manipulated to represent all murderers and all sodomites, man. And we're going to take the rainbow back in the kingdom, man. And in the kingdom, Most High willing, if you want to wear a rainbow garment, you're going to wear a rainbow garment, man. And you're not going to be, it's not going to be no homos, no Pauls. Why you got the rainbow on? We're talking about wearing a rainbow or ideas for particular garments. And brothers, I don't know about that. What is Israel going to say? All right, what shall we say then? And that's a beautiful creation of the Most High, man. That's beautiful right there. All the colors and the lights, and sometimes you see a double rainbow, and that's of the Most High, man. Right? So don't take the rainbow and associate it with sodomy. It's a token, a sign. Every time you see that rainbow, it's a sign and remind that the Most High kill you, man. Right? If you're wicked, and that he's not going to destroy all flesh with the flood. But brothers got it.
That's all I got.
We bring our closing precept.
Con. Yeah, that's right.
I'll start it off. Let's go to Second Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 74. Right, so Israel, prepare yourself for the sights that you're going to see. Pray. Horses have the blinders when they're running, so they don't turn their heads. They keep their mind focused on that race. That's how you got to be in this whole month of June. Right, this homosexual pride month, man. This is it's a damn shame we got to do this, but it's better to warn Israel and to admonish them than to let you go out blind. That's what the watchmen are here for, man, to warn you. Right, and Jake, be circumspect, man. Possess your vessel, man. Have some integrity and honor, man. Like this is like the brother said, June. It's a heightened sense of spirits on the left hand side. Right, arm yourself. Put on the whole armor of the Lord. At least you walk out here blind and naked and you destroyed. Right, this Second Esdras chapter 16 and verse 74. Hear, O ye my beloved, save the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Right? Just talking about this lesson. This is the month of trouble right here. Right? Nothing good happens in June. Right? June is no longer for picnics and walks at the park. Right? And you gotta be careful, man. Even like the brother said at the gym, man. Like you can't even go to the gym and hoop now, man. Brother want to box you out, and he on offense. Right? You got to be mindful in these last days, man. It's confusion, right? Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your God, and the God to all of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift themselves up. So don't let your sins weigh you down, right? Continue in the good fight, and pray 70 times, 7 times a day, right, in this month. With that, I yield.
Con. All right, I'm going to get the classic. In the mighty book of Revelation, right, chapter 3 and verse number 2. It says, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh. Remember, therefore, how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Right? So like brothers going to week in and week out, make sure that you're watching, not just in prophecy, but over all things, man. You know what you need, what's good for you. Know you're not your own selves. So make sure you examine it and strengthen up things that are lacking right in your lives. With that, brothers got it.
1 Corinthians 6 and 9, Baba Gashar. Right? Just to touch on that, close out. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and 9. It reads, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. And such were some of you, but ye are washed, but ye are sanctified, but ye are justified in the name of the Lord Yahushua and by the Spirit of our God. And if you're a brother or you're a sister that's struggling with this, man, you're struggling with that demon, right? You're having thoughts, you're having these spirits that are attacking you. You got to fight through that, man. Go on a fast, man. Right? Throw those prayers up like the brother said, man. Right? Block them sites, block them pages, man. Cut off them people, man. Them sodomite friends you had or have or whatever you're into, man. Cut that off, man. You had men in Corinth, they were effeminate, men that were sodomites, drunkards, covetous. It was a lot of demons, but those men repented, man. They were washed in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And it's not just that demon, but whatever demon you're dealing with, there were men that dealt with that and they overcame that. And brothers have hope and faith, man, that you can also overcome that, man. But with that, we'll close up, giving our honor and glory to Yahweh. By Hashem Mashiach, Brother Naquam, Shalom.
Shalom, brother Ryan.
Shalom, brother Amos.
Kwame Yasha.